Welcome back to the Blind Bulk series. This is week 3, and a really good report is that my weight is at its highest, healthfully, as well, ever since about 2 years ago. So it's good that body composition is still in check and everything, and I'm not just gaining weight and doing a dirty bulk, but things are going pretty cleanly, and actually allowing myself a little bit of wiggle room in regards to where I place my workout volume, and then actually being able to eat a little bit extra as well. I was keeping it almost too clean and not hitting my fat goals for the day. So it was actually necessary to have a little bit less lean meats, things like that, in order to fill things out, which was mentally a little bit less taxing. It's nice when you have that wiggle room built in, and then really get to take advantage of it. So what I want to talk about today, really briefly, is a couple of different more accessible tools that are very simple that I use in order to help keep track of everything for my diet. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, it's just looking up the right things and then being able to make it super, super simple to compound on that and really follow through. So one of my most useful tools has been a measuring cup. That's all it is. So last week I put a bunch of chicken breasts into the crock pot, let them roll for a while until I was able to shred it up, and then let it roll a little bit longer. I think I threw some malt vinegar in there just for taste and kind of keep things nice and humid as well. And then these measuring cups have come in handy like crazy. These aren't meant to be tactile and really useful for blind people, but it just worked out that way. This is a foldable set that I have. And on the bottom of the cup, you can feel the number, how much it is. So I know if it's pretty big, and I can feel that 1 inside the cup, then I know it's 1 cup. And then when I have anything smaller, that would be a fraction. All I do is I feel around for the slant that would indicate that it's a fraction, and then I feel to the bottom right of that, and I'll be able to feel if it's a 2 or 3, anything like that, and I know that it'll be half cup, third cup, etc. So that's a really, really easy, and again, they're collapsible, so they don't take up much space, way to keep track of things. So what I was doing last week was literally just keeping one of the half cups in the crock pot with the cooked chicken. So then when I needed a meal, I knew that 1 cup of the shredded chicken cooked was going to be 43 grams of protein, and then I would just be able to use that half cup in order to fill things out from there and use it for my meals. I was also able to just double dip into the rice cooker and get my rice, and that was a really simple way of going about things from there. Generally, rice is going to be 54 grams of carbs per cup. So I was able to easily put together a ton of my meals that way. And there was way less stress, and it almost wound up being too clean. So if you're really trying to eat clean, being able to simplify this, especially with these tactile cues for you as with a visual impairment, is a really good way to go. Another tool that I'm going to start breaking out more so that I can kind of spread out the variety of the foods I'm able to eat is going to be my talking food scale, which I will discuss. And I want to use this more in a little bit more of a capacity to be able to really keep track of things and be able to have a better understanding of how much stuff weighs, because that really does add up. I just started a new client on a program, and this week they have much more intensive nutrition tracking, because I think it's very important to be able to get a bit more of a feel for that. And the only way that's going to happen is by constantly looking things up, practicing, and figuring out how much stuff weighs and everything like that. So that's their homework for this week, and it is something that I'm going to be pursuing a lot more rigorously. Instead of going by like measuring cups, I'm going to be able to weigh out some different things for my meals as well, and kind of be able to think about how much rice, how many grits, etc. that I'm going to be able to use. Potatoes is a really big one, because those can vary wildly. So I think it's a lot better to use, instead of generally what Google says is how many carbs is in one large sweet potato or something. Instead, you're able to weigh it out and be a lot more diligent from there. This is also going to be something that's very helpful for me with my visual impairment, being able to lessen the mental taxing of when I am going to be cutting. Because when you're trying to lose weight, you're already a little bit more on edge. I really try to use my adrenaline, catecholamine hormones in order to stay a little bit more on edge and be willing to burn fat more throughout the day. But you have to do that strategically. So if I'm doing a diet strategy that is going to make it really, really difficult for me to keep track of things, and I have to do that 6 times a day, and this whole giant thing, I'm going to fall off or I'm going to fall short. So I want to make sure that I have some of these things in place, being able to use the talking food scale, being able to strategically use my tactile measuring cups, things like that, so that once I am in that cutting phase, it's already kind of dug in habit, and then also I know a lot of the measurements right from the get-go. I don't have to think about it, they're already memorized, and I'm just in a bit of a flow. And I think that's going to really simplify the diet process, especially as I push it really hard those last 2 or 3 weeks.